This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire Stick TV, Facebook, and YouTube. Get all your sports news here first. The daily podcasts are Ken and Ken in the Morning, Lions Talk with Smoking Jeremy B, Wrestling Roundup, The Big Football Show, and more, Shield TV, Lions Villain Report, and Red Zone Rant. The afternoon podcasts are Valhalla, Grosef Sports, WCFL Dolphins Talk, The Cheap Seats, The Bodkin Show, Spirit of Detroit Podcast, and Maniacs. The nightly podcasts are Palace Hall Report, Frozen Tundra Network, Skull Gang 365, The Huddle Sports Network Open Mic, First and 10 with Foz, Main Event Football Show, Prime Sports World, The Man Cave, Prim and Proper Sports. Spitballing Podcast, Lions Fan Cave Chat, Puckett, 313 Den Podcast, The Guys Huddle, Shots from the Sideline, Let's Talk Sports, The Michigan Truth Sports Podcast, Off the Rails, NFC Northeast, Power Hours, and Detroit Lions News. Make sure you follow, like, share, subscribe, and comment. Hope you like all the shows.
And good morning and welcome to another edition of the Sports Wrap Show. My name's Ralph Williams, your host. And today we have a very special guest here who's filling in for Scott Morgenroth, our executive producer from the South Florida Tribune, Candy Ebling. Candy, welcome to the program.
Thanks, Ralph. It's good to be here.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Always is good to be here on the Sports Wrap Show. As soon as I get the right banner up here. And also, Scott not only is our executive producer, but he also has a book out here, which I'm going to put up right here as soon as this works here. There we go. All right. Oh, there we go. Sometimes there we are. Lessons from the Microphone, tuning in during Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. You can get it at Amazon and also at the Barnes & Noble Books and also with Scott's publisher. 45 years in the media business. And Scott has put together one great book. George Eichhorn's involved in it and several others. His interview with Muhammad Ali and a whole lot more, all right here on the Lessons of the Microphone, which this program is sponsored by as well. And also, we are our studio sponsor here at the new Studio 10 in Berlin, Maryland, outside of Ocean City, Maryland. Mata Heating and Air Conditioning. You ought to call Mata 724-201-0500. Call Mata Heating and Air Conditioning. All right, Candy, let's get the show started today. We have a lot to talk about. First, we're going to talk about this guy, Darren Ruff. You might know this guy. He's from the Milwaukee Brewers. 2 years ago, supposedly he got injured, and now he's trying to sue the Cincinnati Reds for bad field conditions that caused his injury. You know, this is going to turn into a ripple down effect, Candy, and I think you'll agree with me on this. You know, once somebody sues somebody, it becomes a monkey see, monkey do kind of a situation. Your thoughts on this?
You know, Ralph, as I was preparing for the show and I knew that this was going to be one of the topics, I'm like, well, how did it happen? What did he do? And he actually ran into the, you know how they have the tarp that they lay on the field and they roll it up and then they leave that roller with the tarp actually on the field in Cincinnati. And what he ran into was one of the ends of it. Well, the roller that they use on that tarp is actually metal. So he ran and he hit his knee on this metal. And as you watch, because you can go out there now and see, there's actually blood on his knee from this metal. And he basically, it was a career-ending injury while crashing into this 2 years ago when he was going for a foul ball. Now we all know the guys go for foul balls. Sometimes they land in the stands. I mean, you name it. But why they have something metal like that they don't have a, like an end cap or a cushion on it, because that people are going to be running into that. I
Right.
do blame Cincinnati for that. Like, either find a different place or a different way to have the tarp on the field and cushions around that, because guys are going to run for that. That's what they do.
Yes.
I think in this instance that Cincinnati is in the wrong. I think they needed to put some kind of padding or something on there. I don't know if they typically do, and this night someone didn't. But he ran rough into it. I saw it. And basically they're saying that the safety protocols for every MLB team, leaving an unpadded metal roller on the edge of the field is inexcusable. I kind of agree with that. Like,
Yeah, so do I.
There's no place for that. Like, you don't find that on a hockey rink. You don't find that in the NBA. This time I agree with the player. And typically I don't always do that, but yes, Delos, I would say NBA players are the softest, but right now we're talking about baseball. But we appreciate your comments there. And
Josh Dorr, D-Loss 77's made a return, and Cyberuski, our steady commenters here on the Sports Wrap program. My guest, Candy Ebling, today, Scott Morgan off on
for some medical reasons.
Yeah. And for South Florida Tribune, as he's keeps it going. And also Leo Haggerty off for the Memorial Day weekend, doing some stuff with family. So I have Candy filling in for them today as well. And it's myself, Ralph Williams.
The prettier version.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the next version of that. Someday I'll have my wife filling in for me here, but that's unlikely. She don't really like to kind of get on the microphone. She came on my radio show with me about 2 weeks ago. So
did she? Cool.
Yeah,
cool.
she was
on. What do you think? What do you think?
Well, actually, it was 3 weeks ago. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's okay. So, what do you think of Darren Ruff and the Reds?
Well, I think he has a case, and the Cincinnati Reds, they don't draw anyway. They're a bad draw. They haven't been relevant for a while. Dusty Baker, if I'm correct, was the last manager that really was of any relevance to this team. I mean, they've been irrelevant just like the Pirates. So, for them to make this kind of mistake, somebody needs to be fired, because this is the type of stuff you don't make mistakes on. And, I think the Cincinnati Reds were wrong, and I believe Darren Ruff has a case. And I'm glad that it wasn't something like, the field conditions caused me to really have some kind of a thing. And then now everybody that has bad field conditions is going to cause this lawsuit. But see, that's not the case, folks. And I want everyone to know that. And Candy bringing this to the attention of us in this other perspective has caused the fact that we won't see a ripple down effect in lawsuits with Major League Baseball. You see what I mean? I get it that they had equipment problems, and I don't blame this guy for suing. He has a case. But if it was just for something like, well, the base pad was wrong, or the field didn't look right, or a piece of grass was sticking up, or something like that. People do stupid lawsuits for any kind of money, and it doesn't work that way. You know what I mean? So, I think everyone will understand the fact that this guy wasn't just there to make a buck. He's doing this because it needs to be done, and that's where we are with that. Real quick, let's get into Candy, the NHL playoffs. We have the Stars versus the Oilers coming up tomorrow. Game number 3, Stars versus the Oilers. And then later on tonight at 8:00 p.m., the Hurricanes versus the Panthers. Panthers are up 2-0 on this. I'm a Hurricanes fan. I love Raleigh, North Carolina. It's one of my favorite places to be. And I come to love it in 2019 when my aunt passed away, and I had to go down there and take care of her affairs. And I loved it down there. And so I started getting involved in the Hurricanes and what they were doing. And then plus Jake Gensel who played for them when the Penguins made the trade. I was curious to see what he was doing down there. And so, your thoughts on this NHL playoffs? The Stars are in it again, and I like the Dallas Stars. They're always in it. But Connor McDavid for the Oilers, it's time now that he gets a Stanley Cup or gets in it at least. What do you think about that?
You know, at this point, I could see it being a rematch of last year. I could see it being the Edmonton Oilers against the Panthers. I mean, the Panthers are playing really good hockey at the right time. So they're up 2-0. I know the Stars and the Oilers series is tied 1-1. You can never count Connor McDavid out. I really do. But the Stars are playing good too. So it's in that series, it's really going to come down to, I think, the goalies. Whereas I think the Panthers are going to take it from. They're already up 2-0. They're back playing at home tonight, so that gives them an edge. I mean, and I think it'll be hard to come back from that. And then the Oilers, I think it's going to be, like I said, I think it's going to be a rematch of last year, Oilers versus Panthers, and then which one is hungrier. I give a lot of credit to the Panthers goalie.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? Goaltending is always very important in the NHL. And a lot of people don't realize that. They think, well, it's the Stars that do it. No, goaltending is very, very important. Defense is important. Special teams is important. All four facets of this of hockey, when you play these kind of things, is very important. And a lot of people don't realize that. And good goaltending can get you everywhere. And the Panthers always, and I say always, have good goaltending. They're always gritty. They're always fighting, even though they don't have maybe the talent, but they still are able to fight and get where they need to be. That's why they're always in this contention every time with the Panthers. And the Stars are the same way. The Stars are always in this, and I'm glad to see Connor McDavid back in the fold with this again. I'd like to see him maybe get a Stanley Cup here or there, for that as well. So, all right, here we go. Great show tonight. Thank you, Cyberewski. It's morning, but that's fine. All right, bring out the brooms, Josh says. Well, there you go. That could happen. That just very much could happen. And D-Law77 says, let me see what he's saying here. He says, what are your thoughts on the Ghost of Fear shooting the puck in the Marchant? Well, I don't know what that means, but I don't, I'm not going to worry about that. But anyway, also, speaking of hockey, as you know, the Pittsburgh Penguins still have not found a coach yet. And I said this last week. I'm going to continue to say it. I'm glad that college coach from Denver re-signed, because I want to see us get somebody that's really good, somebody that really knows the game, somebody that can really come in and do some things. Penguins have a lot of talent. They just don't have a lot. They just don't need the right coach. I think Mike Sullivan, Mike Sullivan's a good coach. It was time for a change of pace. I think it was time for him to go. And I'm glad that, he's gone, and it's time for new life for the Penguins. All right, Candy, let's get into the
There's been a lot of different coaches and stuff being hired and rehired and moving around. So if I were them, I wouldn't wait too long.
No, in the NHL, it's all about atmosphere. It's all about what, players. You might have Mike Sullivan was here for 10 years, and sometimes the voice gets old. And then what they want to do sometimes is move coaches around. I've always said this: a change of atmosphere cannot do you any. It can do you some good, okay, and it cannot do you any harm, because sometimes I've seen players and coaches resurrect their career going someplace else, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's in all facets of sports, whether it's baseball, football, hockey, whatever. I've noticed that sometimes coaches and players, they move on to different things and go in different places and become better. I mean, an NFL coach might go to the UFL and do better than they've done in the NFL, okay? Or they might go to college and do better than they did in the pros, and vice versa. It's a reverse thing. But I'm glad Mike Sullivan's with the New York Rangers. He's going to do them better, perhaps, and I wish him well. And I hope that Kyle Dubas and the Penguins find somebody in fast, because, like you said, they're going fast. I mean, there's a few guys sitting out there that I think or get somebody that is retired and at the golf course, maybe get them off the golf course and get them here, or get them to Pittsburgh and get them with the Penguins, so.
Mhm.
All right, Candy, let's go into this WNBA nonsense with this Angel Reese and the racist comments that were made both on social media and across the game. There's no need for this, Candy. The WNBA has enough problems. They're trying to make hay with themselves. They're trying to get their marketing strategy together. They got Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, and they got Paige. All right, and so therefore they're trying to get these three women to upstart or boost the WNBA's reputation, and now we got racist statements being made. I feel that this should have nothing to do with this game. Your thoughts on these racist statements?
There's no place for those statements in any situation. None,
Right.
not in sports, not in anything. Why we are still talking like that and about things like this is upsetting because we've lost respect for everybody. I mean, I'm no different than anybody else. I'm no better than anybody else. I'm no worse than anybody else. I deserve respect just like everybody else. I deserve the same amount of respect as you. Women, men, colors, skin color doesn't matter. And what they're saying now is even part of the whole Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark wasn't that the two of them had racial things. There were fans in the stands talking racially. And what that did is that provoked Angel a little bit more and I can understand that. Like if someone's talking bad and down about you and stuff like that, you have a heightened sense of awareness of that and you might be upset about it. And so you might overreact to other things that happen. But there's no place for any of this in any sport in the world today, period.
No, not at all. Nothing whatsoever. And this has become sort of a rarity right now because we haven't heard this for a while. And the interesting part about this is it had to happen in this WNBA game. And I feel, I get Caitlin Clark may have elbowed Angel Reese. I get that. But there's no excuse for this. And again, I know we don't talk politics here, but I got to say this. I've been accused lately of being a racist because we had a black mayor up in Pittsburgh who was black, and now he got voted out. So now everyone's calling me a racist because I was saying things about him on my radio show that he's a bad mayor. So now all of a sudden he gets voted out, and everybody thinks everybody's racist because of it. You know what I mean? And that's just out of control. You shouldn't even think that way. The bottom line is the man didn't do his job. And it doesn't matter if you're a black coach or you're a white coach or whatever. If you don't do your job, you should be fired.
Right.
It doesn't matter the skin color. Okay,
Nope.
You should be fired. And I think you'll agree with me on that because you've seen a lot of coaches, regardless of their skin color, get fired because they don't do their job. And that's the bottom line right there. But to throw racist statements out there because Caitlin Clark elbowed Angel Reese or Angel Reese hit Caitlin Clark in the head or whatever happened, you know what I mean? That's unacceptable. And to me, it doesn't need to be there at all for any of this. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And the fact of the matter is, Caitlin Clark did a hard foul on Angel Reese. Yes.
Yeah.
Angel Reese was driving to the basket. What is Caitlin Clark's job? Her job is to defend so that Angel Reese doesn't make the basket. So what did she do? She got penalized for it because she had a foul and it was a flagrant one, I believe. So they did her punishment. It had nothing to do with race. Nobody should have been bringing that into it. And it's sad because yes, the WNBA is trying to grow. Maybe this
is a setback, Andy.
Yeah.
It's a setback now because of trying to grow it.
Ralph, is it, or is it a way to grab more attention? Because look at, we're all talking about it.
Grab attention. Yes, it is. Yes, absolutely. Because social media, when you post something like this or you say anything, it's a grabber. I mean, it grabs people. It gets people involved. And now they're talking about it all over social media. It's all over the place. it makes the WNBA look bad, but it also gives them some what they call negative publicity that might even help them a little bit because that's what the world does now. It's negative publicity, social media postings, things like that that just get completely out of control. And believe it or not, it works. I mean, it's
Mm-hmm.
negative publicity, but I've had negative publicity. As I said before, I've been called a racist because you know, with my show in Pittsburgh, my radio show, I've been called a racist many times because I've said things about the mayor, because the mayor's black. But you know what? There's no excuse for any of that. I mean,
Right.
I'm not racist at all, and that's just But people are entitled to their opinion. They're going to express it no matter how it is,
Yep.
and So what are
I
you going to
agree.
do? I mean, but again, negative publicity can be a positive for the WNBA because that stuff there brings hey, wait a minute. That was on the WNBA. I forgot they existed. Oh, maybe I'll watch a game or two. Maybe I'll get involved. Maybe I'll, start watching. Oh, I like the competition between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, and now Paige is there. So let's
Mm-hmm.
let's turn a negative into a positive on this front. You know what I'm saying? And I hate to say it that way, but it's the truth. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's exactly what happens.
Yep.
So but there's no reason for it. But you know what? That's the way of the world right now. It's just the way of the world. There are racist people out there that just can't accept what's going on, and so that's what they do. Okay, let's get into the NFL a little bit, Candy. The tush push rule that was turned down by, or it will not. There will be no rule for the tush push. Everyone's saying the Eagles invented it. Probably that's the case. I get it. I've seen the Steelers do it. I've seen some other teams do it. So it's all across the board. It got voted down. They're trying to make a rule for no tush push. What do you think about this tush push? What's your thoughts on this?
I, some people think that it's kind of funny because I've read some of the fans out there, and they are bashing the fact that the Packers put this in there and even brought it up. And I'm sitting here going, okay, but if it was so bad, then tell me why 22 out of the teams voted for it. They only needed 2 more teams to vote for it and it would have passed. So that means the majority thinks that this play is not right.
It's not
correct. I think
yeah.
it's here's what I'm going to say. Is it a football play? We used to call it a quarterback sneak, and I get that it still is a quarterback sneak, but you're also having other players help you and push you. Do you allow anybody else to do that? Do you allow anybody else in any of the other plays? And my question is, and so far, nobody's really gotten seriously injured with this. But if you're pushing from one side and somebody else is pushing you from the other side, you could get seriously injured. I've never played the game, at least not tackle, obviously.
Right.
So, but the teams that voted to not ban it are the teams that are doing it well. It was the Eagles, the Ravens, the Browns, the Lions, the Jaguars, the Jets, the Saints, the Patriots, the Titans, and the Dolphins all voted not to ban it. It needed 75%. It didn't get 75%. Will we see it more this year? I think so, because it's gotten so much attention now. But I think a quarterback sneak is fine, and that's different. But I think when you get other guys pushing you, do you have people pushing the defense? The defense is going to start pushing more, and then they're going to put people behind them and push them. I mean, what's the difference?
Exactly. Pensman here, Pensman Sports. Thank you for tuning in, Pensman. Also a contributor to the South Florida Tribune. He's also on several shows here on the South Florida Tribune Network. And also we're on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter X platforms, RW Media Productions. And we're also on the Huddle Sports Network. And soon As soon as I get the technical glitches worked out with Oracle here, we will be on the Oracle Talk Radio Network as well. All shows will be on the Oracle Talk Radio Network as well. The Pensman said, I think the attention grabber, if LeBron and Steph Curry had a dispute, it would blow up nationally. Yes, it would. And that's exactly my point, was the fact that, negative stuff like that turns into big news stories for everybody, turns into big, for some people. And that's
Right.
great because people love that. And it brings ratings, brings money, because people enjoy that. They love controversy. They love fighting. They like all that stuff. My thoughts on the tush push is, and I agree with you on it, that it should have been banned from the beginning because somebody could get hurt. Okay. But, and they're using it as something to sort of, I wouldn't say cheat, but sort of an extra incentive to get the touchdown, with that. But like you said, it used to be called the quarterback sneak. Now it's called the tush push, and that was invented by, they say, the Philadelphia Eagles, which I don't believe that to be the case anyway. But, so, all right, let's move on here. More NFL news here. As you know, the 2028 Olympics is coming up. We've had this discussion already, but we can have it here today if you didn't watch the Fire Up show on Thursday. Do you think professionals should be in this game, or should we put the college back into it, or what should be done? Maybe take some of the players that are, let's say, undrafted free agents that keep going to the UFL or the CFL or whatever. Maybe get some of them guys to sort of, even though they make an NFL team, they might be able to sort of help out, with the Olympics and become flag football players. What do you think about this stuff here with this with the Olympics?
I'm gonna disagree with you, Ralph. I think anybody should be allowed, because I think if you think about it, do you want to participate in NFL and represent the USA? I mean, and be in a USA game, or do you want to represent your nation in the Olympics, which is an international competition? I think if you say I'm an NFL champion, you're on one level. But I think if all of a sudden you say I'm an Olympic champion, you're on a different level, because that's worldwide. Right. So I think they should be allowed. It is only flag football. You see it in basketball. I mean, look at hockey. Look at basketball. They've been in the Olympics for how many years and champions. I mean, how do we not forget the 80 hockey team, winning gold, and that in USA, they were considered the underdog for hockey for so many years, and I get for flag football, most other countries probably don't play it. So I don't know how competitive it's going to be, and it'll be competitive because they'll allow people from the NFL to represent their country. And I think you have to allow them, because I think if they had to make a choice, some of them, if they're on the tail end of their career, they might say, you know what, I'm done with the NFL. I've done that, been there, done that. I want to do this now. I want to be an Olympic champion. I want to represent my country and show off my talents for my country. So,
well, some folks are saying, Candy, that perhaps we shouldn't have the NFL players in there. Why not? Why not have the best? Okay. Mm-hmm. You want your country to win gold medals. All right. You want to win medals. You don't want to be secondhand or anything like that. And for many years, we had college students or college players doing the Olympics for many years. And then they went into the pros for, the NBA guys. Mm-hmm. And the NHL the same way, the hockey situation. Okay. We ended up bringing up, having our professionals rather than the college students or whatever, the college game. So what I'm saying is that I agree with the fact we need to have our best out there. And if this is the best, let's put them out there. Okay. Yep. Like I said, you got some of these guys who are saying, oh, no, we shouldn't do that because they're, they need to be here for their team. It's about country. And it's also, we need something like this. We need to boost this country up. And to do that, NFL players are very good. Some of them, a lot of them are very good at boosting publicity, boosting the country. And, oh, wait a minute. I follow that guy in the NFL. Oh, he's in the Olympic football game. There we go. You see what I mean? There we go, right there. You
You know,
know, and it also,
one of my favorite days as being an American is September 12th, because the day after the tragedy, Americans came together. We came together as one. You saw us being united as America. We weren't black, white. We weren't, your team, my team. We were Americans. And that's what I think the Olympics represent, is that we're from the United States of America, this great country where we can speak freely like we are right now and talk about topics like this. So I wholeheartedly believe
yes,
the best
exactly.
athletes should play. College athletes now get NIL money. They get ridiculous amount of money. And if you have followed, there are 4 of them that have private jets that take them around places. 2 of them are already in the NFL. 2 of them are now still in college. But there's so much afforded to, these college athletes that I totally agree with allowing, if someone wants to represent our country in flag football, which is, for all of you that don't know, it is in July. It is not during the regular NFL season. It's during the beginning of training camp. That's when flag football will take place. I'm excited to see it. I think it's something different, and I appreciate it. So I'm looking forward to seeing who is
Yeah,
going
I'd
to
like to see
get
what this is going to
positioned.
do. I didn't watch the Pro Bowl one, the Pro Bowl flag football.
Right.
I'm not interested in that. You know what I
Right.
mean? I like the traditional game. But as
Mhm.
far as our country goes and watching the Olympics, I will do that. That's something I will look into.
That's
Okay,
always
Candy.
fun. Mhm.
Major League Football, who has a Twitter account, has done a top 10 cornerbacks in NFL history. Now, I'm going to name off every one of them, and then you tell me which ones you think they should have added to this list, and some of the ones that should be on there and off of there. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Let's look at number 10, Mike Haynes, from the New England Patriots. Mike Haynes. Number 9,
Mm,
Stephen Gilmore. Your thoughts on Mike Haynes first. Let's start with that. Then we'll move on.
oh, I don't remember him very well, but that's probably just me because let's see.
Well, who
Um,
who do you think should be at number 10? I mean, and I'm going to name some guys off of this list here. Let's go up the list, and then we'll go into who we think otherwise it should have been on this list that are not. All right,
okay.
let's look at Stephen Gilmore, New England Patriots here. Stephon Gilmore, number 9. Number 8, Richard Sherman. Now, yeah, I agree with Richard Sherman. All right, here, another New England Patriots. It looks like they like the Patriots here. Ty Law from Pittsburgh area. Ty Law. Uh, let's see here. Let's see. Night Train Lane, number 6. Number 5, Rod Woodson from the Pittsburgh Steelers. I do agree with that, but there's some other guys on the Steelers team that were cornerbacks like Mel Blount should be on there, and he's not. Let's see what else we got here. Champ Bailey, number 3, Denver. Yeah, very good. Number 4, Charles Woodson. I'm sorry about that. From the currently the Las Vegas Raiders. When he played, it was the Jokeland Raiders. So there you go.
Mhm.
All right. Number 2, Deion Sanders, Dallas Cowboys, and whatever other team he played for. And number 1, they have the Jets, Darrelle Revis, from also from the Western Pennsylvania area. Your thoughts on this list? Who do you think should be on? I think Mel Blount should be on.
There's a lot of different. Yeah, I would
Names.
agree with you. Mel should be on. Let's see. An interesting name. Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yes,
Uh,
absolutely. There's a bunch of guys that are missing from this list that probably should be on there, that are
Lem Barney.
yes. Yes,
Uh,
absolutely. I agree. I agree with that one. So,
um, Rondé Barber.
yes, there you go. There you go.
There's some names of the Arenas Williams. Is Richard Sherman on here? Yep, he's on there. Okay.
Yeah, Richard
Uh,
Sherman's on there. Yes. Yeah, he's at here. I'll tell you where he's at. He's at number, I believe it was number 5 or number.
mm,
Wait a minute. Hold on. He's at number 8 on this list, and this is from ML Football on Twitter, Major League
mhm.
Football. They have a Twitter site, and they post a lot of different things, stats, top tens, but this is from them. So,
How about Ronnie
but
Ronnie
yeah.
Lott? Ronnie
Yeah,
Lott.
Ronnie Lott. Where's Ronnie Lott at? Yes, exactly. Very good. Yeah, Ronnie Lott. Yes, absolutely. He should be on this list too. There's a lot of guys that should be on this list. You know, I have a co-host that I have on my radio show and also on Tuesdays on the Sports Corner show, Smoking Jim Frazier. He always does a top 10, but he does like an A and a B on each one of them. Like he'll say 10A, 10B, 9A, 9B, 8B. He does that.
Mhm,
And,
mhm.
a lot of people laugh at him about that. But you know what? That's not bad because sometimes you can put honorable mentions in there when you do the A and the B and stuff like that. And, there's some good honorable mentions here. As I said, Mel Blount from the Steelers, I think he should be on that list. And,
Yep.
several others. There was a lot of good corners in this league. And,
Mm,
they didn't even put this ML football, didn't even put an honorable mention list. At least if you do a top 10, you should at least put an honorable mention, so,
right.
but, you know, but anyway, Candy, we're going to do what they call open talk right now. Anything you want to talk about? Let's go with it.
Open talk. Let's
Yeah,
see.
let's go with it. Let's see what,
Let's
what,
go
what
with
we have.
open talk. Well, probably should at least touch on the NBA playoffs.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah, the
you know,
Knicks. How about the Knicks back in the fold? You know, I mean, I
exactly.
don't follow the NBA very often, but I've heard the Knicks are back in it, and it's great to see them back in the fold. A New York team, back in it, and
Ex-
it's been a
Except
while.
they're down 2-0 already to the Pacers.
Right.
The Pacers are playing like the Pacers are playing very scrappy. They both were playing very scrappy. The Pacers are finding ways to win.
Yes.
It was amazing the other night. The stat. Let me get the stat. Um, the teams trailing by 7 points or more in the last 50 seconds of the fourth quarter or overtime in the playoffs are four times they've won, and they've lost 1,702 times. The Pacers have 3 of those 4 wins, and they're all this year against the different teams that they've played. It was against the Bucks, the Cleveland Cavaliers, and now the Knicks. It's crazy to think some of the stats. They the other night they were trailing by 14 plus points with
Okay.
250 left, and they won.
Well,
They
that's great. I
they
mean,
have been on
it's
a
good to
high
see.
tear. Yep.
Yeah, it's good to see an underdog team like that. Doing well. I mean, some people you get some teams, Candy, and no matter what kind of sport it is, you'll get a team that's maybe doesn't spend as much money as other teams on players, but they got some good scrappy players, and they're called the underdog. And sometimes the underdog can beat. You know what I mean? You know, and I've
Correct.
seen this go on. So I mean, like let's talk like in college basketball when they have the NCAA tournament. I don't know if I ever told you the Vegas story. In 1999, I was in Vegas and I was staying at the old Frontier Hotel. Went downstairs to go get something at the snack bar, and they had these big fat hot dogs with potato chips, $5. And if you stayed at the hotel, $3. So I got two, one for me, one for my first wife, who's up with the Lord. And we went, and I got this, and I saw this guy standing there, and he was reeking in booze, and he had $1 on in his hand, and and I said, "Oh, I noticed that you got $1 in your hand." He goes, "Yeah." He said, "I put all my money on Syracuse against Wright State." And he said, Wright State beat Syracuse, and I lost all my money, and I got $1 left for a 99-cent shrimp cocktail. And I saw a mess of people because that year, Candy, all the underdogs were beating everybody. So what happened was everybody was coming out of the sports book, which I don't get involved in. They were coming out of the sports book with gloomy faces, like somebody, shot their dog or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And they were coming out like that, and you just never know. So now the Pacers are these, or what I guess this underdog kind of a team, and they're scrappy and they want to play. And it's good to see a scrappy team in there, not just throwing the basketball and scoring 200 points. It's good to see a scrappy defensive team once in a while to really step up and do something, because the NBA hasn't been like that in a long time, with a defensive scrappy team. I mean, I know you follow the Milwaukee Bucks a lot, and the Bucks probably have had some scrappy teams over the years, the good defensive
most of the time, because they don't have the money that the big
the
boys.
money, right? Yeah, I'm surprised Oklahoma City does well. I mean, that's not really a big market there, but if the market's there for the NBA team, and that's their market, okay, other than college, that's their market, for professional in Oklahoma,
Okay.
So, oh, by the way, someone said that I don't know my stuff about the Hurricanes. Look, I get involved when I check on their scores and stuff like that. I don't get heavily involved in the team. I don't know who's on the team at times and things like that, but I do keep in track of the score and the record. I do that, so, but I don't get involved in who plays on the team. The only reason I was following them, as I mentioned before, was because I fell in love with Raleigh, and I also fell in love, and Jake Gensel was there, and I wanted to see what he was doing. Ron Francis, a former Penguin, was in the executive office there, so I wanted to see what he was going to do there. That's why I followed the Hurricanes, but I didn't care. I didn't get into the roster extensively. So, Josh, I didn't do that. But I want to thank everybody. Bensman Sports, Josh Dorr, also D-Law 77, and Cyberuski as well. Let's pay a few bills here, Candy, right now. Mike
Okay.
Dotson Realty in Ocean City, Maryland. Call Mike today, 410-596-1681. Look, if you're looking to buy a retirement home, if you're looking to get a house that you want to permanently live in and you want to relocate, or let's say you just want to come down here for the summer, okay? You want to come down here, or maybe you want to buy a house and do a short-term rental kind of a thing, or rent a house, or get a house for rent. Call Mike today. He'll handle all that for you. 410-596-1681. And get this, I still talk to him. He's like my friend. He doesn't disappear after the closing. You ever buy a house and somebody disappears after the closing? Not this guy. 20 years in the real estate business. Call Mike Dotson today, 410-596-1681. All right. Also, I want to talk about a gentleman who does some very good insurance work in the Pittsburgh area. Robin Campbell, Insurance Farmers, Bristol West, 412-366-3399. I have been dealing with Robin Campbell for over 20 years. I've had him for insurance, all types of insurance, anything you need, whether it's home, life, car, whatever. He'll even give you it gets you into a bundle package that'll save you money. Robin Campbell, 412-366-3399. And Big Dog Auto, listen, there are a lot of frauds out there. There's a lot of scammers out there that will rack up your bill at an auto repair shop. This guy, Big Dog Auto, does not do that. Go to Big Dog Auto in West Mifflin near the Allegheny County Airport up there in the Pittsburgh area. Call today. That number is 412-999-0191. Call the Big Dog. Oil changes, state inspection, and great prices, great rates, and he won't take you to the cleaners like the rest of these auto repair shops. I'm sure, Candy, there's a few of them down your way, and they're all over the place. People trying to rip somebody off, you know what I mean, all the time. So it happens a lot, and but go see the Big Dog and how when you get there. Ow, the Big Dog Auto. All right, let's get back into the show here, Candy. And also I want to put up Scott's book here, Lessons from the Microphone, and tuning into Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. Scott has put together 45 years of his experience in the broadcasting business, and he's put it together in this book, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and also you can get it from his publisher as well, Scott Morgan Roth, Lessons from the Microphone. Go on and get this book today, please, because it's a great book and you will enjoy every minute of it. And I got to take care of my handicap friends, Candy. Fold and travel mobility. Listen, if you're in a wheelchair like I am and you're saying to yourself, I can't go. Why? Because you need a folding power wheelchair. Maybe you can't afford a wheelchair accessible van like I have, but at least you can get the next best thing, a folding power wheelchair. Listen, foldandtravelmobility.com. They have the experts that have over 30 years of experience in handling these kind of things. And they have specials. Every time they have a summer special going on where they might give you half off or 20% off. Check their website, foldandtravelmobility.com. Folding power wheelchair. Hey, don't let the fact that you're handicapped stop you from going anywhere. Get a folding power wheelchair. Put it in your trunk of your car. Get in the car and go. All right, folding power wheelchair. Don't let it go because you don't want to be going to the casino, or if you're going to the amusement park and you got to pay $50 or whatever it is for a power chair. Don't do that. Get your own. They even have financing. Fold and travel mobility. All right, Candy. Now that we paid the bills, let's get into my towns a little bit here. What's going on down in Florida? Your town, as they say.
Well, in my town, obviously, right now, a lot of eyes are on the Panthers. The Panthers play tonight at home at 8 p.m. The Marlins are, I believe, they're out of town. They are across the country. They are playing the LA Angels. They lost last night. As far as my other town, because we all know that I talk a lot about Wisconsin since I'm from Wisconsin. The Brewers are playing, Ralph, your Pirates, and the Pirates
they won. Yeah, 6-5
yesterday.
Yeah.
And then, but the Brewers took the game on Thursday. Pirates took the game yesterday, so it'll be interesting today and then tomorrow again. The other news is the Milwaukee Admirals actually did win last night, so they're taking it down to a game 5 in their quest to get to the Calder Cup. So they play tomorrow.
Hershey's not in it this year. Pensman told us that. Hershey's usually in that thing. Every year they're in that. It's amazing, that Hershey's not in it this year. That's kind of amazing because usually that's where they are. So, but it's good that Milwaukee's in there. Congratulations to them. I hope they win it, so.
Yeah, so those are the two big things. I mean, obviously up in Milwaukee, the talk is, what are they going to do with Giannis? What are the Bucks going to do? Is he asking for a trade? Does he want to be traded? Is he going to stay? I mean, he's under contract. That's the one thing everybody forgets. We don't have a lot of trade bait, but I think they're going to try and do what they can to find some different players, because obviously they didn't make it. They've been out the last couple of years here now in the first round. They make it to the playoffs, but they can't get past. And this year they ran into the buzzsaw of the Indiana Pacers. Like I said, they're scrappers. So we'll see. What's happening in your town, Ralph?
Yes. Well, I could go into Ocean City, but there's nothing really going on sports-wise here. But I will say that in Pittsburgh, the Pirates, as you mentioned and I've mentioned, won last night 6-5. Don Kelly is doing a really pretty decent job. They brought in Gene Lamont to help him out a little bit. They brought in some guys who, and I'm going to use Mike Tomlin's expression, how he always stretches it out. He goes, guys. Brought in some guys who are helping out with this, to help Don Kelly, with this situation. And I think Don Kelly is doing the best job he can do with what he has. And right now he's got some guys that are $4 million a year, like Tommy Pham and a few other guys. We lost our first baseman to an injury for the rest of the year, but Horowitz is coming back. So we'll see how he performs. We still have some issues with a few guys not hitting that are getting paid a lot of money. Brian Reynolds, the Key Brian Hayes. I still, for some reason, call him Charlie Hayes since that's his son. But I mean, Key Brian Hayes and a few other guys are making a lot of money, aren't hit. But O'Neal Cruz is doing a really good job. He came through last night to help in the 6-5 win. And I think a lot of these guys with the Pirates right now, need to start coming through a little bit. They need to start stepping up, especially some of the big money guys. They're making that are making what we call big money. And I feel bad for Paul Skeens, but Ben Cherington, Candy, has squashed whatever trade rumors were out there. He says we have no intention on trading Paul Skeens. They want to build with Paul Skeens. And that was a social media post that probably should, you know how it is with rumors and stuff like that. But, and like sand through the hourglass, those are the days of our lives. We're still waiting to see what's going to happen with what's his face. Oh man, I got a brain fart.
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, thank you. We're still waiting on that. Sand through the hourglass. Those are the days of our lives, and we're still waiting to hear what he's going to do. Is he going to play? Is he going to retire? Is he going to go bag groceries? What is he going to do? I mean, because it's getting kind of old right now. And it's getting late. I think what's the deadline? June 12th. That he has to make a decision. So he needs to do something. And it's not fair to the Steelers, but the Steelers put themselves in this position. Since Roethlisberger's retired, they have blown this quarterback thing right out of proportion. For some strange reason, they thought Kenny Pickett was a good number 1 draft pick. That was the last pick or the last draft of Kevin Colbert, our former general manager. And, Kevin has had some great drafts. That draft was not very good. DeMarvin Llewell's got to go. There's some guys that got to go. George Pickens is gone. So, I mean, let's see what we do. We need to get a second receiver to complement DK Metcalf. We need to go out and get a couple guys here and there. And I think some free agents will become available real soon. And I think the Steelers, they need to bring in Nick Chubb. I think Nick Chubb's still got some gas in the tank. I know he's been hurt, but you know what? You want to run the football, you need to bring a guy in that's got a guy who's coming in with some experience. And Candy, I'll say this once, I'll say it again. I think this is the last contract for Mike Tomlin. He's going to be after this contract will be with the Steelers 20 years. Smoking Jim Frazier, my co-host, has said, and I quote, that he said until he breaks Shula's record, he wants to coach the Steelers. I don't see that happening. I think he's going to either retire or be forced to retire after this contract, because if the Steelers don't at least make the playoffs and try to get more than just through the first round, I think the Rooneys need to step up. And I'm hearing a story. I read an article on Twitter. I don't know if it's true. Bill Cowher is talking about buying in some interest to the Steelers. The Steelers are losing minority ownership, Candy, because Art Rooney II is not very good at running the team like his dad did. Okay, his brothers are supposed to be stepping up to try to take over. Art II is getting ready to step down in the next year or two. His other brothers are going to take over. I hope they do a better job than he has, because he's done some dumb things here with this team. At one time, he was a lawyer. He got kicked out of his firm because he wasn't doing well. The partners bought him out, and he's not doing well with this team. He hasn't since he's taken over. He got in a bad way with Bill Cowher, and a lot of people thought Bill Cowher, which was one of the reasons why he stepped away from the team, because his wife had skin cancer. Okay, and it wasn't noted until after he retired. But the second reason that a lot of people don't know about is Art Rooney II. When Dan gave Art Rooney II the keys to the castle, what happened was Art Rooney II said, "Hey, I'm in charge now. I want a new coach." So Bill Cowher said, "Okay, fine. My wife is sick. I'm going to step away. I'm getting out." And that's what happened. They were having arguments and things like that. So, but now Art II has, except for one suit, he's won one. Well, Dan Rooney was still alive when they won that Super Bowl with Mike Tomlin, and went to the other one against your Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers. And, but like I said, it's time for him to step away as well as the owner. And I think he's hinted that within the next year or two, he's going to step away. And I think when he goes, Tomlin's going. That's my thought process. And a lot of the minority owners too, Candy, they want him out. Even John Stallworth, who is former Steeler, who has a stake in the team, and Haslam, You know, Haslam, the guy who owns the Cleveland Browns, he was once a minority owner with the Steelers. He wanted to do more. He wanted Mike Tomlin out. And a lot of them said, well, you know what? Since we can't get through to Art the second, we're getting out. And they're taking their money and leaving. So now I'm hearing Bill Cowher might be stepping up. And if he gets in there, I think there's going to be a whole lot of changes. I really do. You know what I mean? Because I know Bill Cowher, he's a man of perfection. He was a great coach. It was sad that he went through all those AFC championship games and never, ever got to more Super Bowls. You know what I mean? You know, who has the best record and who has the most winning Pro Bowls of any head coach in the league?
Don't know.
Bill Cowher. Bill Cowher has the most winning Pro Bowls. He's won the most. So, and he's been to the most. So
Makes sense.
you could be proud of that record, but that's something that he's done. So, but that's my town, and that's what I have to say. So there we are. All right, Candy, tell everybody how they can get a hold of you and the South Florida Tribune, and we'll do this one more time here. We'll put up Scott's book, which Lessons of the Microphone, and you can go ahead and talk, Candy. Go ahead.
Okay, so my husband wrote this book, Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. It is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, Google, and Apple Books. There's also a link on our website, www.southfloridatribune.com, where there is a plethora of great content. Scott's book is really about media and how media has evolved over his 45 plus years in the business. He's got a picture of a young him and Tommy Lasorda, a young him and Muhammad Ali. He's got great stories in there. Go check out the book. Go get your copy today. On our South Florida Tribune's YouTube channel, we have some great content. Monday nights, we talk baseball. Tuesday nights, we talk football. Wednesday and Thursday nights on Sports Exchange and then Fire Up, respectively. We talk anything, mainly sports, but you just never know. Also, we have a special invite on Thursday nights. We talk, Scott has a former hockey GM, has Mike Santos.
Yes.
And so they talk hockey. So that's a great show. So anybody that's a hockey fan, definitely go check that out. We also have great other content on our YouTube channel. We go out in the field and we do interviews. We've been at Marlins games, so we have the Marlins manager. We cover the Miami Hurricanes all the time, so we have the #1 draft pick, Cam Ward. We have interviews with him. We have Mario Cristobal on there. We have just some great content, so please go check it out. You can check out our live shows. Also check out the videos because that's where you'll see some of those interviews. And then we even have a lot of shorts. So if you don't have a long amount of time, go check that out. All of our broadcasts are also on wherever you get your podcasts. So if you're an audio person and not necessarily a visual person, or you want to listen in your car and you don't want to listen to the car radio, tune into the South Florida Tribune. We have all of them up there as well. The other thing is on Tuesday nights, I'm on the Chicks podcast, which is Chicks and Salsa, or 3 Chicks in a Pod. We're talking sports mostly, but you just never know. So check us out Tuesday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. I think that covers it.
Yeah, it does. It does, Candy. You know, you and I are on Fire Up Show every Thursday, along with a selective group of guys, Pensman, JD, Wyatt. I also want to check this out. Comment from Pensman. He said the Knicks, hope the Knicks come back. It's good, but they went this far. They haven't been this far since 2000. Wow. That's a long time not to be in a championship, especially in New York. New York hasn't been in too many championships over the year. Well, the Yankees were in the World Series last year, but they basically played the Dodgers and all that. It was good to see them back in the fold. Yankees haven't been around for a while. In the World Series, it was good to see them there as well. You can get a hold of me on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, X platforms. All my shows were real soon here, as soon as I work out the technical glitches, and I may try to do that today after the show. Get this technical stuff straightened out with Oracle Oracle Talk Radio Network will be on there. All shows will be on there. We're also on the Huddle Sports Network. And for the sports programs are all on the Huddle Sports Network, including our Wrestle Talk show on Tuesdays as well. And check out the rest of my shows. Also, don't forget, every Saturday, it's the triple header of Ralph Williams here. And we start off with this show, the Ralph Williams Tony Moreno shows. You know, I want to congratulate Tony. He has won the Republican end of the mayor's race up in Pittsburgh. And he is my co-host and will be joining me more often now that he's done with this primary stuff. But he still has to get stuff together for November. And then at 9 o'clock, don't forget to join us here. And I'm talking here, the Sports Wrap Show with me, Ralph Williams, Scott Morganroth, Leo Haggerty, and a special guest of our choosing at times. We will have a special guest on every now and again. And then also don't forget about the Sports Corner radio show coming up this afternoon at 2 o'clock. On 1250 The Answer. Don't forget to go to the website, 1250 The Answer, pgh.com, and listen in to the Sports Corner show. We got a lot to talk about today with me, Ralph Williams, Smoking Jim Frazier, the Hall of Famer, Claudia Rosano, and Luther Dupree from Steel City Sports World. Smoking Jim Frazier also is part of the Pittsburgh Sports Line as well as shows he does with myself and Steel City Sports World as well. Don't forget to tune into that, the Triple Header Ralph, every Saturday. And please subscribe to my YouTube channel. And also, I want to thank those on Twitter. I reached my 300 goal before the end of the month, which is great. I now need about 300 more. So spread the word. Call your friend, call your cousin, call somebody, get them following me on Twitter. Some of my stuff is really good. I also post stuff from the South Florida Tribune. And I also post some of the contributors as well. I also post their things as well on my Twitter account. So check that stuff out as well. And I haven't been as active on my social media account because, in case a lot of you don't know, I just moved here to Ocean City, Maryland. I'm still trying to get things together. When you're handicapped, it's difficult to do stuff faster than regular folks. And you know, we're slowly getting our house in order here and getting some things together. So as soon as I get done with that, which will be probably this weekend, I am going to start really getting involved in social media with everyone as well. And I want to thank a few other folks yesterday who at the Bonfire Restaurant in Ocean City, I was there on Thursday for my anniversary dinner, and some folks approached me and said they see me on social media. I want to thank Scott Morganroth, but Scott was the one who gave me the tips and the ideas to pursue subscribers. And by doing that, my seed is now planted here in Ocean City, Maryland. And I have folks that have come up to me at the restaurant. Hey, I saw you on YouTube. Hey, I saw you on Facebook. Hey, I saw your comments on there. Hey, I'm from Pittsburgh. I didn't know you were in Ocean City. So there you go. There we are. And people are now coming to Ocean City to, to be here and live here because of some of my promotions and some of my other stuff. I want to thank Scott for that. Scott was the one that encouraged me and gave me the tips as to what to do. And everywhere I go now, people are subscribing to my channel. So that's great, and following now. So that's great to hear. And I hit my 300 goal, and I'm glad. Now I need to hit 300 more by July, and I would like to try to do that. So anyone out there that's watching this program, please follow me on all those social media platforms. Candy, do you have anything final thoughts you want to add before we wrap this up, the sports wrap?
One last thing. The reason for the weekend, Memorial Day weekend.
Yes,
I want to thank
the troops.
everyone that has family or friend that have paid the ultimate sacrifice for all the veterans that go out there and, defend our country. It's not something I did, but I respect everybody, and I'm very grateful for everybody. I do have friends that did lose their life. So that's the reason for this weekend. And I would just have everybody take a moment to really think about that and hold them in their thoughts and prayers and their families.
All right, checking my Facebook page here, Candy, see who's on here to acknowledge. And we have a few folks on here. We have Cheryl tuning in. We also have Bill tuning in, Bob from Beaver Falls. He's a PA. He's a very loyal follower of my stuff as well. Thank you on Facebook for tuning in here as well. So I want to thank everyone. I want to thank everyone on the Huddle Sports Network, and also real soon we're going to be on the Oracle Talk Radio Network as well. Thank you for tuning in. For Candy Ebling, I'm Ralph Williams. It's great to be here every Saturday. Until next week for the Sports Wrap, everybody enjoy your Memorial Day holiday, and please honor the troops. That's what this is about. Like Candy says, it's not about the hot dogs and the hamburgers and the cookouts and getting drunk and belligerent. It's about the troops. Honor the troops. They're the ones that keep us here. So Candy and I and Scott and Leo and everyone else that's involved in broadcasting can do this stuff, and we can't do it without them. They're the ones that go out there and defend our freedom. Thank you. Have yourself a great one. Enjoy your holiday weekend. Thank you.